Carla V, and this is Rewiring with Carla V. Life can shift, sometimes suddenly, sometimes quietly. These are the conversations about the change that rearrange us, because you may not have chosen the rewire, but you still get to choose who you are and who you become. So let's get into it. Our guest today took a unique path to get to us. After spending 2 years in Honduras as a Peace Corps volunteer, digging latrines and helping to engineer rural gravity-fed water systems, Page Fehling worked as a TV host and a morning news anchor for almost 20 years. In the fall of 2021, Paige decided to leave TV and use her powers for good. She now delivers keynote speeches, facilitates corporate trainings on a variety of professional development topics with a focus on leadership, communication, and connection. Paige and her husband, Jake, co-host the award-winning podcast, Date Night with Jake and Paige, and co-wrote the best-selling book, Holy Crap, We're Pregnant. She has 3 kids, 3 dogs, and still most of her sanity. Please welcome Page Fehling.
Yay!
Thank you for being here. So today we're still in our disruption phase of our show of Rewiring with Carla V. And this is really that moment when plan A just doesn't work because we chose it or it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Your whole career, or you could even when you were in Honduras, which you keep rewiring and changing.
Mm-hmm.
Has that always been innately in you think, too?
That's a good question. You know, I was thinking about that when you and I were emailing back and forth and thinking of when the moments were where I really felt like it was kind of like oh my gosh, this is so different for me from what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And this most recent career change for me, which was going from being a TV host to having my own business where I do keynote speaking and corporate workshops, et cetera, honestly was probably the least wake-up-y, dramatic one for me, because I was so ready for it and I so wanted it to happen.
Okay.
But having gone through other changes like that, I realized, oh, wow, though, in other times of my life, it really was what is happening? I have to change the whole way I'm thinking of this, like becoming a mom and quitting a sport in college that I had played my whole life. You know, so
Right.
Things like that really did just kind of make you go, oh boy, this is not where I thought I was. What am I going to do now?
Right, but do you ever also thought that was sometimes it's not even just you, but it also is that community you were included.
Yes.
But you don't realize that sometimes, right?
Right.
And so even with softball, your
Mm-hmm.
sports, you were there, but not fear of missing out, but it was a big change to do that, right?
Oh my gosh. Did you play sports?
I didn't, but I can get it.
That's to me, exactly. So I played just my freshman year at college. I was at Chapel Hill and I played my freshman year. And I honestly I thought I was kind of done with softball before I even got there, but I didn't want to wonder what it was like to play at that next level. And I wanted to experience that. And I was just done. I was burnt out from the sport, but it crushed my soul to quit because I missed my teammates. I was like, what can I do to still be a part of this? Could I be a team manager?
Right.
Could I, can I coach? Can I be at equipment? I don't care what I do, but and I didn't end up asking to necessarily, because I just felt like I would be a loser to be I'm going to quit being but I still want to be their teammate. But I missed my teammates so much. And that's what I miss most now too, about having left my TV career, is when you leave to go do your own thing, you don't have teammates anymore.
Right, the collaboration.
Yes.
Because I never really understand what community meant. People would say it and I'd be like, oh, that's nice. But I had one, I just wasn't identifying it as
You mean even when you were with old jobs?
Old jobs or your sports, or even if you dance, or even I'm trying this podcast out. I'm going to miss this team. You just don't realize that, right? Because we're relationship based.
Mm-hmm.
So then what made you actually have that thought? So you decided I'm going to quit. So then what took you to that next? Other things during college, or it was after graduation and you knew
oh girl, it was the whole process.
Oh, tell me more.
So do you mean quitting TV?
Or just in the whole, every time you were in this rewire.
Yeah. So
and I'd love to have one that was unexpected, if you don't mind.
Unexpected change
as well. And how you...
Well, sure. Yeah. So my first job, I went into the Peace Corps after school, like you said, and then I did get my first job in TV. I had a couple different jobs, and it ended up, the first one that was sort of a longer term one was in Raleigh. Well, I thought it was going to be longer term. And then I was there for, I guess, just 2 years, and I was on maternity leave with my first baby, 8 weeks in. And I'll be honest, I had mixed feelings about going back to work or not anyway.
Right.
Pre-kids, I was very I was all gung-ho. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. No one else is going to raise my children, da-da-da-da-da. And then I had one and I went, I cannot wait to get back to work. Love this baby, but love my career too, and definitely want some separation between church and state. And I was literally sitting on our couch nursing my son, and I got a call from the GM. And I think that I had gotten a heads up because everybody was texting each other at the station. They did a massive layoff. So they laid off 60% of the station in one day.
Okay.
So when the phone rang, I kind of had an inkling,
Yeah.
And bless, he was the sweetest man ever. He was in tears telling me, which was love. I hate that he was in tears, but it meant something that he got, that it wasn't just a casual call. And I remember hanging up that phone and I was so in shock. I didn't cry on the phone with him. And I did, I'm looking at my baby and I'm kind of thinking, I don't know that I wanted to go back anyway. I wasn't sure what my choice was going to be, but to have that choice taken away from me was a weird feeling.
Right.
And I called my husband right away. And as soon as he picked up, I just lost it.
So in that circumstance, being let go, fired, I've been there too with you. And you're right. It's that shock. And then those tears and all those sudden things of grief.
Yeah.
That gets us in when that disruption happens, that messy middle. So then did you recognize that after those tears? Because for me, when those things happened early on, I didn't know what that was. Because your ego is also involved.
Sure.
Especially in that for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how do I feel? Is that my ego? How did you differentiate? And then you had a baby.
Yeah, right. I know. So I'm like, I don't know what if this is new mom hormones and what if this is you just got fired hormones?
But also that's so hard. And for somebody who doesn't have my own kids, I appreciate it even more. Because I know how hard it is to be a female and a woman. And I'm like, then you have kids? And how did you do this? Because to me, I appreciate that so much more in a female. And I'm like, but can you share a little bit about that? Because I really don't know. But women don't share that sometimes. Does that make sense?
You know what? It's so funny you say that because you're right. I think sometimes women don't share it for a variety of reasons. And I think sometimes we do, but until we live it ourselves, we don't hear it. Because it just doesn't hit until you've experienced it yourself. One of my producers that I worked with at that station, because by the way, that station hired me back when I was pregnant with my second son to do a different job. Quick side note about that. So my boys are just 15 months apart.
Okay.
And so when I left, I was on maternity. I left to go have the baby. So I was 9,000 months pregnant. And then I came back and I was 7 months pregnant with this baby number 2. And one of our cute little audio technicians was a dude who was 20-nothing years old, Tom. He was the sweetest little thing, but he's a dude and he's young and he doesn't quite understand pregnancy. And I walked in the door and he goes, wow, Paige, have you still not had that baby?
Oh my gosh. Oh, goodness.
And I was like, Tom, that was 15 months ago. This is a different baby.
Right. So you're like, what kind of, it's been wild around here, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so when I came back though, one of my producers at the time, and by the way, that first, when I came back after I had the baby number 2, I would come into work and all I would do while I was getting ready is just cry. As I was getting ready and I was tired and I would be pumping in the room and I'd be like, this is so hard and I can't. And she was like, you're great. She coached me through it. She was wonderful. She was young and single at the time, no kids. And then about, I don't know how long, maybe a year after that, she and her husband adopted twin newborns.
Oh, wow.
And she came in 6 weeks back after and she was like, all she would do every morning is cry to me about how hard it is and I remember her going to me one time, why didn't you tell me it was this hard? How could you? And I go, Amber, do you not remember all I did was, and she goes, oh, you're right. I guess it just didn't hit because I was trying to comfort you and make you feel better. I wasn't processing, what would this be like to live through too? And, and I think some things you just don't feel until you experience them.
Right, or you're not the signs or hearing it, and then all of a sudden, even you said, I hope somebody listens to this, and at that moment they're ready. Or it's the spark to that what is. Okay, so then you're back there, which we won't go deep down, but I'm you went back, and then how long did you stay?
So, I was there. I was at the NBC station in Raleigh for about 7 years total.
Okay.
I did every job under the sun you can think of there, including, being fired and then coming back, or laid off, I guess technically, and then coming back in a variety of capacities. I worked both in the news department and in a daytime show that they had. And then I ended up the last job I had before I left was I was reporting traffic on the morning news and then fill-in anchoring. By the way, Carla, I cannot find my way out of a paper bag without, like, the irony of me doing traffic. And I said that to them when they offered it to me. I go, guys, I don't know even what street we're on right now. And they were like, you're here for personality. Like, just tell people we have machines that can tell you what to, where there's backups and things. And I was like, okay.
You're underestimating yourself, because if somebody told me that, I'd be like, no, that's too much going on.
Well,
so
I
you
can talk.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, listen, I can talk my way out of a paper bag, but if you make me drive it, I don't know if we'll get there. So I was there for 7 years, and then I was in Charlotte for about 7.5, 8 years at the station here before I left.
So you have rewired through careers, every different job.
Mm-hmm.
Being a mom, like in that career, different jobs, then a third child, moving. Mm-hmm. These are all major rewires. Mm-hmm. So then how did you know you were rewiring in all those in those situations, or ever have, like, when you were like a bad spot and you're like, man, like you needed a little extra of that hope or to get you there? Like, did you ever have any of that going, or like, because it was all kind of a lot being thrown at you, it sounds like.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, all of those changes, like you said, even just changing a location is enough of a big change, and then you throw into the mix all the other changes. Sure, I was for sure aware that all of that would happen. I've always, though, had a really good support system and leaned on a good support system. I feel like my and I'm not just saying this as lip service, my husband is awesome. Like, he really is. And we very much have a partnership. I want to be full disclosure, and I always say this in conversations, especially among women. I know there is a narrative among women a lot of the times that they carry the load, and they feel like they do a lot of the stuff at the house, and especially if they work outside the home as well. I cannot relate to that. I really can't. And I feel like it would be dishonest to say that that's part of my narrative, because if anything, my husband is the one who, like, he does our calendaring. He's the one who, you know what I mean? Yeah. He's the one who got the kids their license appointments and does the, like, he's better at it.
Yeah.
He is better at that. If that stuff was dependent on me, my children would never be signed up for school. They would never have, but like, we all have things. I do the laundry.
Right.
He does he takes care of, like, the technical things. Some fit the traditional roles and some don't, but having that as like, we truly have a partnership. I feel like it's very even in terms of the loads that we carry.
Okay.
And I think that A, he's wired that way, and B, I refuse to play the martyr like that. Like, if I find myself resenting him for not doing something I want him to do, I'm like, then I need to tell him.
You just change that language in your head, the narrative of it. Like, you see it, you're like, oh, no, I really appreciate him.
I appreciate him.
Like, in that way. Because sometimes I do the same thing with my husband. Like, he's great, but like, I'm like, wait, he didn't fold it right or whatever. So I'm like, wait, but I'm just glad he did it.
Sure. Yes, exactly. Do you feel like it's pretty even in terms of, like, pulling weight?
We do. And I'm curious. But it shifts because, like, his job changed. We moved here. And so I did have to take on some more of that and transparency too. And then, but now I'm trying to rewire myself. And so we're now trying to refigure out what it looks like at home. So I wonder, like, is it open? It sounds like a real open communication as well as too.
Try to be, and I don't think that I always openly communicate perfectly, but I certainly openly communicate. Like, if I'm thinking it, he's gonna know it.
I agree.
I probably could say it a little softer sometimes, but, and vice versa. I mean, he and I don't pull punches. Like, we're, if anything, I often feel, now in this stage, I feel like, should I be pulling my weight a little bit more? But then I'm like, I look back on the first 5 years of the kids' lives, and I'm like, no, I did my fair share. Like, I nursed 3 kids for 3 years, and picked them up in the middle of the day of daycare. But, like, by the way, that meant that he was taking them by himself to daycare every morning on his own. I think that was actually, and I've talked about this before, that was actually a great equalizer for us because of my schedule and because of the necessity of him having to take those duties on by himself. Right. It was whereas other couples, naturally, the mom might, take the lead role on the baby stuff or what have you. He was like, oh, I'm the only one home. My wife left 5 hours ago for work. So,
Yes.
And that really was a good equalizer for us in that sense of dividing labor.
Yeah. So that worked out well, though. And it just sounds like, so that helped even through those situations. And even now, if you, like, next level of, as your kids are aging.
Yeah.
Because they're always your children.
Yeah.
They're just bigger.
They're just bigger than you at some point. It's
and
crazy.
Bigger, and some of their problems are big problems. Like, they're adult problems.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, the littler problems were a little easier.
We're easier. I know. You're right.
So then, like, what are some of the biggest tools then? You obviously said your support system have been great to you, but, like, is there a tool that, because sometimes, unfortunately, we've both been blessed. We have some good people around us, or we've found them. And what is something that people can listen to? One thing that you really found that helps you through some of those messy middle parts?
Just like an actual practical thing?
Yeah, or do you look back that it was just a good tool for you, that you're like,
I mean, honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is a shared calendar. And I know that is like very literal in terms of a tool, but that has saved us so many arguments and so many back and forth, who's doing this or what's going on.
Right.
Everybody knows, you look at the calendar, and we do it with our kids now that they're old enough. As soon as they got any sort of device that could load that, we put everything on the calendar so that we're not constantly, it's the little pings here and there to each other that can start to just build up and drive you crazy and take everybody out of their mental space.
Right.
So if we have like a system for things like that, that really helps us, I think. So my husband and I have always shared a calendar. We now do that with the kids too, so that they're not just, by the way, they still pester us with stupid questions.
Right, no.
I mean, it's not perfect, and he and I still pester each other, but it's sort of like that, when you get hit with somebody at work and they hit you with a per my last email, it's like our family's way of being like, scroll up, buddy, like check other stuff before you come to me and take me out of my work zone or whatever. But check the calendar.
But today's terms, I always say it's not easy. There's multi-steps. But so you're saying you're making it an easy step. This is where it lives.
Yeah, it's a system.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this coming from being divorced before, I had a really hard time opening up all of that. So you could almost say fear led instead of love, like in my heart, because I was so fearful, right?
Of
just sharing my schedule. Like, which sounds weird, but like I'd already, I was like, I was broke. And then I was like, who else is going to break me more? I couldn't help but think that because I was in that messy middle. It was really, I call it the muck.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't see anything. And then you finally come out of it.
And you were young too, right? Didn't you say you had a divorce pretty young?
Yeah, I was mid-20s.
Yeah. Which I know doesn't feel young at the time, but looking back now, it's like, oh my God, you're a baby.
Even rewiring through that, I think for me, is like, okay. But so in the South, which is funny, more people ask you, do you have kids?
I know. That's why I always try to say, do you have kids or pets? Or who do you live with? Right. Somebody asked me that one time, who do you live with? And I go, what a funny way to ask that. And she goes, well, I never want to presume, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot if they do or don't have kids or pets or spouse or anything. So that's how she asks it. And I was like, it's almost like a more invasive thing to ask who do you, but I was like, I get it. I totally understand but I don't know, what do you have a good way to ask that? Like,
no, I always just say, how do you spend your days?
How do you spend your days? Yeah.
Because I'm like, they'll tell me something. I hope.
Who do you spend your nights with? No, that's not a good one.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like, you never know you're going to get it.
You can always step in it one way or another.
That's a whole can.
Yeah.
So then besides the calendar, and then I love that calendar because even it shows your identity is not tied to something bigger than you either. It's you and your husband. But I have to ask, in the beginning, you said I had a church and state were separated.
Yeah.
But now your church and separated is together. You wrote a book.
Oh, sure.
And you have a business together.
Yes.
So please share a little bit about that. Because
oh my God, I love that you just said we have a business together, because we do. Technically, we do now. And we actually really do now, because we have an LLC. We started an LLC years ago when we started to just, anytime you have other income coming in, when we both still were W-2s. We started that. Okay. And we now we bought an investment property that we're going to short-term rental. Oh. So that's its own, but it's funny that you say that. The reason it's making me laugh is because when I left TV to actually start my own business, like my own speaking career and content delivery, et cetera, at one point my husband was helping me build my website. And I said something, I asked him just to look over a proposal. It was like my first proposal that I was sending, and I'm like, I'm not used to that. Leaving TV, you have basically no marketable skills that are at all useful in the real world. I mean, literally, Carla, he would say to me, save it in the drive. And I was like, what's the drive? He's like, it's in the cloud. I'm like, what's the cloud? Like, what are these words you're throwing around?
And that makes me feel better, because in this world, I'm like, what does that mean?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't know until you've lived it or worked it, right? And he always had worked in the corporate world, and he's good at that stuff. He enjoys that stuff. I do not and was not, and I had no idea what he was talking about. So at one point, I asked him to look over a proposal, literally just sort of proof it, make sure there's not typos, and does this sound like I'm a human who could actually be asking to be paid to deliver this content? And he goes, I do not have time. I have my own job. And I go, but you're like my colleague. You're my only colleague that I have. And he goes, I am not your colleague.
Oh.
He goes, I will help you when you need it. He goes, but this is your job and your new thing. So get your together, sis. And I was like, okay. Got it. Okay. Fair. But it was a little tough love.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, okay. And so then how did the proposal go, though?
They hired me.
So then that worked.
They hired me.
Okay.
If there was a typo, it wasn't a bad one, huh?
Yeah. So it worked. So then he never reviewed it.
He didn't know. He literally refused to look at it.
So I love that our partners teach us lessons. So so he, I get that for sure.
Yeah.
But then that's good. So, oh my gosh. Then I appreciate that you and working together then. So it's seemingly with 3 kids, 3 dogs.
Yeah.
Your sanity.
Yeah.
And you've gone through all of this.
Yeah.
So you are the definition of hope.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's nice to hear. I thought you were going to say you're the definition of the messy middle.
No.
Because we're also that. Well,
we are, but but you figured out how to get out of it.
We're figuring out, right? I mean, I think that's your whole point in all of this, right? Is that no matter what we want to say, like, here's where we are and period, the end, this is the conclusion we're at. I'm like, I am not concluding anything until I'm dead, right? We're all still, who knows what could happen tomorrow that I'll look back on what I said today and be like, oh, actually, this was true about it. I just talked to a client the other day which I don't remember. It's an event that's coming up. Oh, I know, a panel that I'm doing.
Oh.
And they said, there's a woman on the panel who did not get a job that she had applied for 3 months ago, that she now has a different job, a better job. She's so tickled, whatever. And they said, basically, she's so grateful that she has the job she's in now. If you had asked her 3 months ago, that wouldn't have been her answer. And I thought, what a great thing to remind people of and point out, because none of us knows, what's going to happen next or what this actual lesson was or what the conclusion is that's drawn. And for all of these things, I mean, tomorrow, maybe I'll get a job offer from corporate America and I'll go back to that and I'll be like, remember when I used to be an entrepreneur? Right? But today my storyline is I'm an entrepreneur and woohoo, isn't that fun?
Yeah.
But that could change like that.
It could change like that, especially in today's time.
Yeah.
Before we'd plan businesses 2, 3, 5 years out.
Mm-hmm.
It's such an interesting market. So I think that's even another piece of advice. Just remember, like, hey, we're all figuring out this, even our new environment.
Yes.
Without going down whatever path we could. But like that even it can be. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
But Paige, thank you so much for taking a chance on me, coming here, being a part of Rewiring with Carla V. It really means a lot.
Thank you for having me.
No, and your story that you are sharing hope, like you keep coming through, like the Peace Corps, like playing sports, Peace Corps, to your several different careers, but also encompassing your family and then still having a good partner. That you provide so much hope and love, and that's what really this whole show's about.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm so excited for you. This takes a lot of guts to do. I mean it. It's really hard, and I think it's awesome that you want to provide this service of taking something you've experienced yourself and helping other people through what you went through. So congrats.
Oh, thanks.
I'm happy for you. Yeah.
And that's a great way to say, hey, this is Rewiring with Carla V. You're not alone. This is the messy middle, and we're going to help you get through it. So until then, we'll see you next time.